is there in the writing that gives you that energy, that direction?
So there's an explosion, there's, oh, were that all? That's a very naturalistic explosion, beginning with an O, all monosyllables with an exclamation mark at the end. That's very helpful to an actor.
What is the relationship between an actor and a text and the ideas that that text embodies? So if we start with gender, Zoe, what was your experience of playing Cassius? Well, did you play a male as a woman, or did you create a female character?
I just played a character in a play called Cassius, and I was a woman in that play, along with the woman who was playing Casca, for example, the woman who was playing Trebonius, and others. So that in that instance, the director of that production, Robert Hastie, made a particular decision to have what he described as a gender-neutral company, and that's what he wants to do with Shakespeare in Sheffield, in the theatre that he's running. Just absolutely for the purpose of making it clear to audience members that we no longer need to go and see classical work, which is predominantly watching men on stage.
Amongst Shakespeare's plays, The Tempest is by no means the hardest to follow when you're reading it. It's short and it's divided very clearly into three groups of characters, all in their different ways being manipulated by Prospero. And there are very clean storylines for you to follow. The Miranda-Ferdinand relationship, Stefano, Trinculo and Caliban, in parallel to that, and Alonso and the rest of the shipwrecked Neapolitans in parallel to that. And Shakespeare moves so clearly between different parts of the island and those three groupings before everybody comes together. It's a very straightforward narrative to follow. And if you like, let Prospero lead you the way that he is leading those characters.
The play moves from this excitement of violence to a third act where it's like an aria of grief. And it's poem after poem, but that's ridiculous to say that. It's finding the words and finding the words, and they go on and on and on, with Titus having to understand how he can cope with his daughter who's lost her hands, who's lost her tongue, she's been raped, with his two sons who've been accused of treachery and then beheaded. And the audience becomes almost hysterical with a kind of saturation of pain. And then at a particular point he reaches one of these silences. And Titus is just lying on the floor and says absolutely nothing. And his brother's saying, come on, now is the time to rail. Now is the time. This is at this point when his sons' heads have been delivered to him and he's already lost his own hand, so it goes on. Now is the point to give expression to this grief. And again, the silence. And then perhaps one of the most marvellous moments in all of Shakespeare. I defy anybody to come up with another moment like this. He laughs.
I did a lot of work on the spine. Now, looking at the women, there's a sense that I wanted them to be very erect in their spine.
The name Regan to me felt really regal, and when our movement director Coral came in, I was really interested in the way that she'd move in a royal setting.
I am made of that self-metal as my sister.
You could really change your posture and really feel upright. Remember, she loves her body. She really loves who she is and her sensuality.
Michael was really interested in setting the play as a medieval piece.
Sure, you rogue.
Taking it back a long way in history. So one of the reference points for that was Game of Thrones.
Get it ready.
The costume and the earthiness and the rawness of the play. So I went away and did a lot of imagery on light coming through castle windows, slits, fortification, and how light worked in nature.
Can we talk about Rosalind?
We didn't want to pretend to be women. We wanted to disconnect ourselves from all the things within us that made us, associated us with being male, and let that go. And once we'd let that go, we didn't want to take on attributes. We just wanted to allow the audience then to sort of project that kind of femininity on us.